Alright, so today I had to go pick up some pigeon food, and on the way home after getting it I was thinking I need to do a video on how I feed and water my pigeons and all the details into that. It's real simple stuff, but I still need to get it on there. So here's what I feed. This is the bag I just got. NutriBlend. This is the gold bag. They also have green. The gold is for what they call winter maintenance, green being for breeding. And on the back here they've got instructions for mixing it in certain ratios depending on the time of the year, what you're doing. And here's breeding, feeding squabs, feeding young birds, spring fall maintenance, post-race one day, winter maintenance, pre-race, pre-show, or it's all for, yeah. So that's so it's got that. This is actually not the kind I prefer. I like a seed blend from KT better, but they don't have that at. I get this at the Farm and Garden here in Lexington, and I'm going to see about ordering some KT though. Now I'm going to show you about feeding and watering them. I'm going to see if I can do this without letting any of them out. But I just throw their feed in that, and that is not the best way to do it. It is definitely not the best way. The best way is something similar to what I would do their water. This is just a milk jug with holes cut in it. You can see I need to clean it out now. This one doesn't really need to be cleaned, but that one's a bit older, obviously. And what it is, just a milk jug with a hole cut in it. It's that simple. You know, just look about how high up your pigeon's head is and do it lower than that so they can stick their head in there. But the best thing to do for their food is something sort of like that, but not in a milk jug, in something long, like you'd picture a feeding trough being, but covered. And I'm actually going to be building one of those out of wood. I've got some OSB. But feeding and watering is pretty simple. Water the easiest. Just make sure they have water all the time and you're good. Feeding, I don't have a way of weighing my pigeons, and so what I do, come here, see if I can't get one, and I'll show you. I just feel their breasts right here, and I can just feel that. This one is nice and well rounded. She's eating good. And then behavior. I mean, you can see they're coming to me. They want to be fed. See, she's coming to see if I've got any food, which I don't. But if I had food in my hand, they'd be all over me. So just make sure you feed them enough that they're always hungry when they come to you, but don't let them get thin. That's something you really learn with experience. I've heard an ounce of pigeon food a day for a racing homer, but I don't know if that's exactly right. I mean, it really depends. And I mean, there's lots of different kinds of pigeons. This white king right here is a bit larger than a racing homer, and a Birmingham roller is a bit smaller than the racing homer. So, you know, you just got to kind of feel your way through it. Racing homers are also more responsive to food than rollers are. You can feed them the same amount for their body ratio, and the racing homers will come in better. And then right along with feeding them, you know, food goes in, poop comes out. And I was just going to show you, all I do is, most of the time, is scrape it. And because I've got a small loft that I have to reach back into, I just use a hoe. But in a big loft that you walk into, which is what I'm building, you want to use a smaller scraper. That would be hard to get around inside a big loft with. And you can just use like a putty knife or something for that. My camera battery's dying, partially because it's cold out here. But one last thing, hopefully the battery makes it, is keep your food inside something. This is a plastic trash can. I put a lid on it. But here, the important reason for doing that is because I left the lid on it, and if you can see in here, I got 6 mice in here. And most of them are huddled in this jar now. I don't know if you can see. But now I'm trying to decide what to do with them. I feel like they're deserving of some form of a prank on someone I know. But yeah, that's why you got to be careful about that, because the mice will get in there. So that's 6. I found 2 in there earlier when I brought the food home, and 4 in there last night. So you got to make sure you put it in something, and make sure you put a lid on it. In addition to just feeding them well, the right amount, I also use droppers to get my birds down, and I just thought I'd show you my favorite dropper, this White King. Watch how fast she goes in there. She's not playing around. She's not hanging out around on the top of the loft, letting other birds, chasing other birds around. She means business. She's getting in there and she's eating. So that's one of my favorite droppers right there.